Hi, and welcome back to Disco Elysium, where we talk to the White Pines rap.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Tell me about White Pines, what do you do? What we do, I'm afraid is... Wait, what was the voice I gave her? I just made a 5-minute break and I don't remember the voice. What we do? I'm afraid I don't speak... I'm afraid I don't speak for White Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking. There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent. So what do they do? The Pines' core competency is logistics, container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking on the horizon? Those are the shipping side of things. Then to the east, towards the harbor. And that's the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms. The White Pines group is one of the original Ravacholian Indo-tribes, companies rewarded royal monopolies by the king and the Southern himself centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain. Who are the other Indo-tribes? Saint-Baptiste, Lam, an unknown entity known as Bright Star. You're in good company, it seems. Why, thank you. She does not register the real meaning of the remark. How much money does White Pines have? I am not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that that last year the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue. A billion. What exactly is a billion? It's a number, officer, a big one. What is it made of? It's made of 1,000 millions. A million is made of 1,000 thousands. Wow. 20 billion is a large number, but the conglomerate employs 72,000 people. They all need to be paid. Then there are capital improvements, interest payments. A wave hits this loop, she grasps the mainstay for balance. A conglomerate the size of White Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It's a tremendous responsibility. Where does White Pines get all these billions? They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Cimmerian and Insulindian Isolas 250 years ago, when Pines ships explored the South Semines and charted Loma Thang on behalf of the Suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels passed through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taking everything from its employees to build it. It probably helps to start out with a royal monopoly. You know more than you let on. She takes a sip and looks over afresh. Certainly it helped, but most of the original Indo-tribes have failed or been absorbed. To survive, White Pines had to grow and adapt. No Suzerain did that. What does such a huge system want with a place like this? You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? "8% of all cargo in the world? That's quite the endeavor indeed." The 15th Indo-tribe. She nods forcefully. There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest this entire system breaks. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their job. The word's over. I'm here to assure that doesn't happen. Wait. The 15th Indo-tribe. White Pines, Feld, Cuprous, Tricentennial, Villiers, and LaSalle. Names of Ravacholian Indo-tribes spring into your head, set loose at the mention of White Pines. Royal monopolies, octopuses, and swordfish, most of them gone now. YBP, Expander, Saint Baptiste, Brighter Star, LUM, Trent Resplendent, East Insulinic, Welter and Alcacet. But isn't one missing? Wait, no, there were only 14. Then why do you feel like there was a 15th Indo tribe? With your help, hopefully? Says her warm tone. What can you tell me about the strike? Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. Wait, what if I want to hear about trade secrets? First you have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade and Elements that gives me the right to sign it. It's quite the octopus. How do I repeal it then? Why, by throwing off half a century of foreign domination under the Coalition. Unfortunately for you, the Coalition also leases you the right to police West Ravageur. You'd be shooting yourself in the foot, in other words, leave it alone. But I'm derailing us. Do you wanted to know about the strike? What is your role in it precisely? I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer. And how are the talks going? They are not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago. After that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbor. There's a I'm getting WhatsApp messages, I'm getting distracted by it, I'm sorry. No, they won't even let me into the harbor. There's a 2.2 meter racist behemoth blocking the gates. Oh, you mean Messier? Yes, Jean-Luc Messier. She leans back and rolls her eyes. How were the talks going before the lynching? Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived. And when did you first arrive? I arrived 3 weeks ago, yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM. He looks at his notes, but the strike began in December. I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont, despite concessions he had granted the union in prior negotiations. This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike. Heavens no, there have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive. Ludicrous even, it meant. What happened to this Gaumont? Mr. Clare told him to do... How did he put it? She paused to compose herself. Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Not cool. Keep it in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, who was more than fair with him and the union. What are their demands? There are leaflets everywhere and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes, every worker a member of the board. Most of the workers probably don't know what that means. It seems like they have no idea about business. Yeah, a business where everyone gets a voice and every decision is just so slow moving with everything. It works for governments, but only because not everybody gets to have a say in every little thing. You can't do every law. You can, I think. Doesn't Switzerland do that? I have no idea. Seems like they have no idea about business. In its defense, another said demand democracy, pretty tame stuff compared to every worker member of the board. What does that even mean? It's quite simple, you see, every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything really, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in the Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines essentially. They are not Not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employee of White Pines Group. That's pretty funny, I have to admit. They are having a blast, but how can they afford it? After 4 months my assumption was they would prefer a more practical solution. What are you going to do? I'm not sure, and naturally I assumed that was just their opening position, but a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags, a disastrous situation if there ever was one. Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching? I first heard it from the boy at the gates, the one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was "Call me mañana." This checks out. The scabs at the gate, did you put them there? The scabs, she raises her brow. Bro, you mean the huddled masses of Jamrock come to plead for work where the union refuses to? If they were organized by White Pines or its affiliate, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you, not right now at least. It's implied she's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion. Oh. Tell me about the union boss, Mr. Clare. Everett Clare is a man of utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interest of the workers first. Really? Of course not. Everett is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, vicious goo where you and I have blood. Is he that bad? He is the most corrupt individual I've ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there's anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother Edgar. Were there 2 of him? Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. That's good information, so they can't trick me by sending the wrong one to a conversation. He also talks exactly like Everett does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. What about the union itself outside the brothers Clare? The Debardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution, 20 years ago anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organized labor at its best, as they say, and then something happened in the local chapter election. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a, how do you say? She hesitates, looking for the right expression. A mob. The Debardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, we are forced to cooperate with them. Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everett and his brother. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Debardeurs Union is... The problem is, it needs a union for the workers, but the way it is organized as a crime criminal organization is something that I really don't like. They are not an effective advocate for the rights of local working men. Are they a giant leech sucking the life out of Rebeccol, or a socialist mob? I have no problems with socialists though, so it's a giant leech sucking the light out of Rebeccol. Indeed, and a hungry one. Sadly, White Pines have cooperated with with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. Syndicate was the word I was searching for a minute ago. However much you feed the leech always hungers. One more thing, you said something happened in the elections? I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous former woman of the union. She disappeared. Disappeared? Yes, on the last day of the local chapter elections her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore. or coming to work, ever, end of story. Eerie? Downright haunting, if you ask me. The White Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with them. Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine. And that's all I need here. Let's change the topic. Of course, how else can I help? Wow, you work hard, says Savoir-Faire. I do? Oh yes, you hustle, you're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it real and provide. I guess... What hard work do I do exactly? Look at yourself, you're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps down cracked asphalt, mosaic, sand and linoleum after you re-emerged. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way. And you won't let it break you. You're right. I fucking ride till I die, bitch. That's just what it's like. Life and death. But you got gills on your side, baby. Gills. You got those black papers with the faces of innocents on them. You bring in the Franco-Negros and the Solas. It ain't easy, but you do it. Day in, day out. And you didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. You're a cop and a sprinter and a money printer. Can't say I didn't make that silent guy give some of his money either. Can't say that, you shook him, you're a killer, a shark. You could say I took some money from the manana guy too. You don't lock that in as a donation either, you don't lock any of that shit and you're a straight rider. Oh, and then there's pawning of stuff off to that suspicious Roy guy. Yeah, you're in the sales business, shake them for shit and then pawn it off, law officer style. I guess I've made some gills, sure. Sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you not about to have an anxiety attack or shoot yourself in the mouth? But you still hustle 24/7, right or die. Now ask yourself, are you rich? No. That's right, you work harder than anyone, you almost rode yourself to the grave and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that? The system is broken. Woohoo, the system is broken, the establishment is keeping me down. That's not the fuck yeah attitude you're used to. That is, what is this? Why are you so pure? Fucking Texas, man. That's right, 100%. Fucking G-Man's got his gem covered, sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from you every time you buy, sell, walk, talk, fart, so much as sneeze. Aren't Texas almost non-existent in the Gossamer state that is ravaged? I thought there were no taxes. You and I both, but they got those indirect modes of taxation, sales tax, excise duty, extradition tax, this tax that doesn't even have a name, plus there's the stuff people in other countries pay for that makes them ask for more money from you here. The Gossamer state's a myth. In total, the coalition government is taking 98% of all your money. Are you sure? That seems like a pretty big number. What are you not sure about? They're milking your nipples till they bleed. Can't you see? Aren't you sick and tired of having bloody nipples? Bleeding nipples are a kind of pain, but how will deregulation help with that? I'm opting in a little. Indirect modes of taxation. It's all about the tax issue, hustler. No other problem in the world is as pressing as top marginal tax rates. And don't you fucking forget it. And now I have to make this. Opioid receptor antagonist is completed. Ha! Put down the pipes, Tommy. The narc is on the scene and he's gonna tell it to you straight. Drugs are for losers. They fry your brain and rewind your circuits to self-destruction. They make you masturbate too. Have a drink instead. Have 2, have 3 bottles of wine. It's impossible to masturbate after 3 bottles of wine. And remember, friends, don't let friends get high or be sober. Peace out, little brother. No positive effect from drugs, but no negative effects from alcohol. Okay. And we found indirect modes of taxation. First, if you have a side bitch ideology cooking somewhere, don't sweat it. Fighting indirect taxation for the gossamer state is compatible with all creeds. It's cool like that. You're a cool anarchist now, unless you want to be you don't want to be an anarchist. Whatever, stuff this meal ticket in your eye socket. Let's see if we can steal some love back from the robber barons at the custom agency and the banditos as the Indian Financial Oversight and Competition Committee. No. I'm not doing the free market rules everything approach, but this one is quite interesting. So if I now take, is it here? No, interactables. No, not interactables. Tools. Yeah. No, Pyrrolidon has no positive effect. And the speed has no positive effect. But I can drink as much as I like. Okay, so I'm getting rid of that because I won't drink and I will never drink and I will never do drugs. That's what this playthrough is about. I'm thinking about doing another playthrough, but I might not have the time for that, where I'm playing a higher physique, dumb, brutal guy that's taking alcohol and doing drugs. So being the person who I seemed like to be when I woke up in the room. I might think about that, but I might not have the time. Okay. Oh, now we lost our opportunity to call to talk to the one girl.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
What can you tell me about this lynching? Quite a few things, I'm afraid. She was silent for a moment, contemplating something. Secret task complete, interview the White Pines ref. And we leveled up. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask you for your names and badge numbers. Of course, ma'am, we should have introduced ourselves. The lieutenant hands her a piece of blue plastic. I'm Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice. How curious. She returns the lieutenant's badge and turns to you. Why is that, detective? Awkwardness washes over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events. Remember when my partner told you I had recently suffered from an unusual medical episode? My lost badge is related to it. I see. So you are saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? It's possible. After a night of heavy drinking, I lost all memory of my life and the world. Oh dear. I suppose this does explain some of the more curious turns in our conversation. She must have been suspecting something for a while now. As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM. Of course. I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge. Hang on, she's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial agreement. What kinds of arrangement would it be? I mean, favors for favors, a dirty alliance of some sorts. Consider this, perhaps she has been planning it all along, that you convince yourself into colluding with her. A dirty alliance. Let's try it. Easy, just offer her a favor like I asked, nice and dirty. Surely there's some other way to demonstrate our law enforcement credentials. I'll be frank with you, I'm going to break protocol. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something very tangible. You're in, but expect her to drive a hard bargain. Like what? Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinez. The union controls the terminal, so it goes to reason. The company has tried looking into the matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and resources might turn over the right stones. Or you can recover your badge, though I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a lost cause. Detective, a word in private before we continue. Excuse us for a moment. Okay, we got a point. That's what that says. Okay, let's talk to Kim.
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective.
Lieutenant's voice is hushed. How did you hope it would go? Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance and, not volunteers to be her henchmen. Oh, so we're henchmen now? This woman is running circus around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands. He doesn't let it show, but there's a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation. What do you propose? That we don't investigate the drug trafficking? No. If there's reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we're siding with the Union or that we're on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But we do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for information on the lynching. Her proposal is likely part of her design. This all is. Yes, knowing this does not really change our position, however. I'm sorry for putting us in this situation. I'll handle it. I'm sure you will, Detective. We could just, find my badge. Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The word is large and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters. The situation might have changed drastically by the time you locate it. Time is of the essence. You could request a new one from your station, but that would literally take months. Let's go back to her then.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Tell me about this alleged drug trafficking. It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Cimmerian in Isola to Reverco with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years. Ingredients for what, ma'am? Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say that what you can't make from the stuff. Let me get this straight, the materials come from Samara to Revershore through the terminal. Yes, after they clear the terminal we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter, north of here. Wild Pines seem to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean? We're in logistics. It's our business to know, and no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce as they transport the ingredients for a cut. And you want us to investigate. Yes, but you won't get anything out of Everett and the Dockworkers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link. The handoff, the motor lorries at the roundabout. The lorries. Precisely. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbor to the city. Once they reach Jamrock, they are distributed to a network of local manufacturers well beyond our grasp, but in transit they are vulnerable. Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam on the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment. She gives you a knowing look. Her irises are light green, like the river aspirants in bright daylight, upstream where it's clearer. I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I'll share company secrets with you. Why didn't you come to the RCM earlier? We did, on more than one occasion. Apparently there's some sort of inter-precinct disagreement about whose jurisdiction this area falls under. We know the company has launched its probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCM. No one's been able to find any hard evidence. Well, she smiles and points towards the roundabout. Here's your chance, officers. It's no coincidence the lorries are stranded there like that, is it? No. We asked Motor Trade to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. However, this is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the trade committee, they'll have no choice but to lower the drawbridge and the cooperation will continue. That's tomorrow. Oh my god. Thousands of liters of raw ingredients will pour into the streets of Larico, not the east or across the river, but the west, the vulnerable, the wary. Well, at least this solves one mystery. What is that, Lieutenant? Why I had to call Eastmont Motor Tract and beg them to open the drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in, on my motor carriage. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kitsuragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity, I'm sure you understand. What proof do you have that the Union is involved? How do you think they are financing the strike? There are thousands of unpaid drug workers going strong for the 4th month straight. There was a shakedown of local business preceding the strike. Many were squeezed by the bankruptcy to fund it. With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves. So you think the strike is being funded with source ingredients for drugs? Precisely, smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one driver who will open up to you. It sounds like she tried looking into it herself, though she is really not the type your typical lorryman would confide in. We already have some suspicions that one of the drivers was present at the lynching. The two might even be connected, or not, though if you have evidence to the contrary, I'm eager to hear it, as eager as I am to share it, Lieutenant, once the job's done. Okay, I've made up my mind about the smuggling investigation. We will take this case, probe the drivers, see what it yields. Excellent. According to my report, there are at least 3 lorry drivers lingering near the roundabout. Hopefully one of them will know something. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I can keep the drawbridge up for a few more days at least. You should have the time you need. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance. She takes another long sip from her seemingly bottomless thermal cup. Do you know something about these tattoos? Ugh, that's the man who was killed. She almost takes the photo but then stops. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching questions. So you know something about the tattoos. Better not to tie the forestay to the backstay of this. I hope there's something else I can help you with. She wants to answer the question. Protocol keeps her from it. Thank you, that's all for now. And we have... Okay, the gem mystery. Interrogate the 3 drivers about the smuggling. We had one that was suspicious about talking about apples, and I was not believing him. Was that the racist man? Or was that the one man that was shipping corn pants or something like that? Oh, everybody's gone now? Up here. Did anything else change around here? Nobody's here. I think nobody's here. We had only one truck that we... Aha! This person. That's why we couldn't talk to her before. I assume. The woman still has her eyes fixed on the photograph in her hands. In the background, the radio plays. Snap your fingers in front of her face.
If you want her attention, you may need to be more forceful.
Twice.
Where am I? Who are you?
Like a magician rallying, recalling a subject from hypnosis, you've jolted her back to reality. The smile on her face has disappeared, replaced by the wary aspect of a cornered beast. Are you alright, ma'am? You were out.
Never mind. I remember now. I'm still stuck in the traffic jam. In the 50s.
When else would you be
Back
then?
in Messier, during the time of the revolution, the sidewalks and coffees are filled with young people. I was on my way to see a new Boydero picture starring Gabriel Buenguerro. Until you come along, that is.
Who is Gabriel Buenguerro?
This is Gabriel Buenguerro.
Take a look on the picture. A strikingly handsome man looks straight at you, his hand crowned with a wide brim hat. His hair is dark as an oil slick, and his is jaw the most perfectly chiseled thing you've ever seen. This man's got a hold over her. Even 50 years later, you can
It
feel
was
it.
the biggest start of his day. Girls used to faint in the aisles of the cinema whenever he came on the screen, and schoolboys used to memorize all his lines.
She leans back, savoring the words she's conjured up. So I take it you were in mask when you were young.
Someone was.
Someone?
They are someone's memories, boy. What difference does it make if it's me or not? They are beautiful. That is all that matters, beautiful and true. And they will win. They are coming for this, you know. All of this.
She seems to derive some bitter pleasure from this strange thought, as if the past will one day wipe the present away like a tidal wave approaching. Sorry to interrupt your dreaming, ma'am.
I wasn't dreaming. I was there, Lowman. It was early spring, and the man behind the black sun had just come out. The posters were 20 meters tall. Everything was golden. While you people were tearing each other apart over your petty little revolution. In Messier, it was a golden age.
The Republic of Messier is a massive confederation on the isle of Mundi, the world's largest state by territory. It's a petrostate, a constitutional monarchy, and as of recently an outcast due to its tilt to the far right. Right, I have some other questions for you, police questions.
Why not, Jerife? It's not like I have anything better to do in this hellhole.
We're getting new words for cop every time. This time it's sheriff with an X. Jerife. Definite Spanish pronunciation on that one. She set his back against the railing of her motor lorry. Behind her, the mountains of memorabilia, photos and knickknacks line the dashboard. There's something off about this woman. Tell her to show you the soles of her boots. Maybe she was at the hanging somehow. Show me the soles of your boots. Now what do you want with an old woman's boots, Jerife? Please help me out there, it's important. Please? I think you should let me get back to Gabriel Buenguero. You know Gabriel. Gabriel doesn't say please. She's wearing sturdy worker boots made of black leather. Buckles run across. The sole is also made of leather. Now the other one, please. Just before Gabriel, it was the coronation of Franco Negro. Now there was a real man. There's no aberration in the pattern that you can see. She puts her foot down. Moreover, the boots were size 37, tiny. There are too many discrepancies in all this. Another discrepancy, also not boot-related, the coronation of His Innocence Franco Negro, which happened 500 years ago. Wait, what do you mean it was the coronation of Franco Negro? It was, and then it was no more, and I was no longer holding my father's hand. He was no longer descending the stairs and rail. The crowd had gone silent. Perhaps it was another Jerife who came and woke me up, looking at my boots, asking questions, or perhaps it was one of the others in this carnival. I don't remember. As she says carnival, she gestures to the empty square with the statue and the machines. She's not Otso. These are not the boots that made the prince. I could have told you that from just looking at them. Their size is 37. The feet of a little girl, they fit well on the pedals. On the pedals. Before I came, you seemed away. She's just a distracted old woman. We should maybe let her get back to things, so he doesn't think she's the smuggler. You hear that, lawman? I don't think your partner likes you spending too much time with me. Wait, why is that, Lieutenant? Nothing? I just don't think she's connected to anything. He doesn't want your frail mind caught up in something here. Something unconnected to the case, but connected this woman tuning out like that. Should you drive a lorry if you get like that? Oh, don't worry about me. I'm one of the best camioners around. I drive routes no one else will. What routes? Lomonosov lands, Agdaknaya Zemlya. The western plain. She nods and closes her eyes again, letting her mind submerge. The Transkatla Magistral, U41A, and as Estradas do Mirador. All the good ones, the deep trenches, where the bluebirds fly. She opens her eyes again and shudders. I'm something of an expert in blacking out. You should take better care of yourself. You're right, lawman. I am the one who should take my health more seriously. Thank you for looking out for me. A correct appraiser, you're quite shabby. Is that all you woke me up to say? What are you hauling? Diamonds. Diamonds? Of course not. Why would it be marvelous if it was? What are you really hauling? Whatever stupid things they put in my lorry, I imagine. So you don't know what you're hauling? I quit concerning myself with that a long time ago. Besides, I don't drive that lorry for the cargo, if you know what I mean. She says that as if something narcotic is the real reason. Wait, you get high off driving a lorry? Oh, it's much more than that high where I go, Kharifa. It's low, I go to the bottom. She closes her eyes in reverie. Yeah, it's definitely some kick, some terrible kick in the dark, a sleep kick. Perhaps you can find out later. What if the cargo is contraband? Then it's contraband, lawman. What, do you want to take an old woman in? Be my guest, look at me like Backhand Hermenegildo. Hermenegildo. Backhand Hermenegildo's backhand strangled 300 people. What can I say? Some people just really like strangling people. I still don't really understand this whole Boyardiro. This whole Boyardiro Gabriel Buengaro thing. Of course not. To truly understand the Boyardero, you need to listen to On the Western Plain. A boyardero, boy for short, is a cowherder from upstream Magritte, the great steppes of northern Mask. He is a rugged individualist and explorer. Okay, what's that? It's an old ballad about a young girl who falls in love with a daring boyardero. He promises to marry her as soon as he returns from the Western Plains. And I'm guessing that doesn't happen? Of course not. The boyardero returns from the Western Plain a changed man. One night, as he and his beloved are out walking along the river Magritte, she pleads him to give up his riding and settle down. In the background you can hear the orchestra as well as the screen fills with maidens' imploring eyes. I think I see where the weather's going. So the boyardero strangles his beloved and throws her body in the Magritte. Then he rides off because the Western Plain is calling to him. A beautiful song. The most beautiful. A true boyardero needs a whole horizon to himself. He can't be tied down by a man or woman. His beloved was selfish. She didn't know what it meant to love a boyardero. What if to truly love a boyardero is to float lifeless downstream? You seem like a woman who knows a thing or two about drugs. What do I need drugs for, lawman? What I see, what I fear, the great adversary. No drugs can compare. The adversary? Yeah, there's a protagonista. She gestures to the intersection, and an adversario. I am on the side of the adversary. There's no coming back from that hall. Those epithets are familiar somehow. The great adversary, the great unrest. Where could I get my hands on an experience like that? If you don't know, pfft. Maybe if she thought you're corrupt. I wanted to ask if you'd be interested in smuggling some drugs. Why would I want to do that? For the thrill of criminal lifestyle? Lawman, what in the name of God are you talking about? Okay, let me put this another way. Are you smuggling drugs through Terminal B? Maybe? Probably not. Makes no difference to me either way. You said earlier you don't know what cargo you're hauling. Could it be drugs? Just this month I made a half-dozen trips from Zaramisa to Grad on the U41A. What do you think they take from Zaramisa to Grad, lawman? Drugs? No, lawman. Diamonds. If you had to guess, who do you think is smuggling drugs around here? Easy, it's the skinny man who thinks he's a poet. Never trust a poet. Also, he's the only one I can see from here. That's correct, there's no visibility of any of the others. I didn't ask you about the diamonds, did I? I don't care about that. Diamonds are good for you, lawman. You should try them sometimes. Make yourself pretty little Eva de Shoras. Okay, if you're not involved with the drug trafficking, then why are you still waiting here? Where do you want me to go? This isn't so bad. I can listen to music or the seagulls, look at all the colors and the features of this world. It's a good palate cleanser, this jamboree. Or I can just relax and let my mind carry me back where it will, to the Great Plains. I think we're done here, no? Thank you for now. Yes, go. Enough jamboree. I need to get back to Messier. What's this? I think this is the man with the fine truck. That's the only one that she can see from there. That's the one that she's talking about. Okay, no one here. No one's here. Is there no one on top? Oh, there are. Let's see what the racist guy is doing in his truck. He's not over here yet. Look in the window. Okay. Can't see anything more here. We have to come back tomorrow when they're back. We're missing a lot of people now. Maybe they're in the whirling. I could also try to break into the lorry, but that might not be a good idea. Okay, these guys are gone. They didn't leave something on the ground. I could have... This guy's doing nothing. Okay, we could go up now and end the day. Do we really want to do that? We still have the whole apartment building, but nobody will be there. It's like... It's midnight, isn't it? Yeah, it's midnight. Let's go to sleep. Can we talk to her still? Or isn't she here? She isn't in her bed, so I assume she's out here? Nope. Okay, she's completely gone. Okay, I assume everyone's bed, and that's the same thing that we should do now. I could also wait for a few more hours for the thought to finish, cheating that time system that's behind that, but I think I won't do that. If that's less than like... Yeah, that's still 2 hours. No, I'm not doing that. Okay, will we get an end of day debrief? Maybe we have to manually trigger it the same time around, I don't know. See you in the morning. Okay, we don't get a debrief.
Yes?
Goodbye. Okay. We're done with the day. Okay. That will be it for this episode, and we'll see us tomorrow for day 3 of Disco Elysium. Have a nice day. See you then.